In this video, I would like to show end-user experience and configuration of SAML whenever it comes to work with the safe and authentication services. For this example, I will use Juniper as a demo. Same true for Netscaler, F5, and any other appliances that support SAML integration. As you can see in Juniper, I have the concept of landing pages. This would be my standard page. If I created a separate landing page with a tree field, I can see it like this. But in this video, let's focus on SAML user experience. Now, the whole concept of SAML, it's identity federation, meaning that user might not exist on appliance, but at the moment user try to authenticate, he will be redirected to a third party, that in this case, safety authentication service that we call Identity Provider, perform authentication over there. SAS will generate assertion ticket, will send it back to Juniper, and because they mutually trust each other, Juniper will accept authentication and apply on user certain policies that configured on Juniper itself. On SafeNet authentication service, we have advanced authentication flow. So what you saw so far, it was a basic user authentication mechanism. Now, what I will show you in this example is how we can enable enhanced user logon experience. You can think about it as a two-step authentication. It's when on the first step we collect username, and on the second step, based on the token or based on context that user try to authenticate, we can apply a step-up authentication or even step-down authentication based on scenario. So right away, you can see a change on end user experience. I will type my SAML user. Click on Logon. I need to generate one-time password for this user. Type it here, and then when I log on to the system, it straight put me to my Juniper environment. Here's example what happen if I select the checkbox that allow us to remember a username. So all entire process might be even simpler from the user standpoint. I type username, I select remember me on this device. I will create another video where I'll show you some advanced usage of context-based authentication, how user can, how we can create a policy on what user experience should be if we know from what computer he comes, from what source IP address he comes, and where he tried to authenticate. So here you can see I log in and I log out, and this time I expect a field for username being already pre-populated for me, so I don't need to type it. The idea is to make end user experience a little bit nicer and simpler. So I click on Logon. I will type my one-time password. And system will allow me to log on. Now I want to show you all this concept of single sign-on. It's if I try to open another SAML aware or SAML enabled application, I don't need to do any login to additional application. But if I log out from one of those applications and I try to refresh my previous page on Juniper, it will show me that the session was expired and I need to go and authenticate myself again. The second part of this video, I'll show what actually needed to make this flow work for SAML authentication. So I will log on to my safety authentication service console, and I also will log on to my Juniper. On the SafeNet authentication service, I will go to my tenant virtual server. I will go through communication tab to SAML configuration. Let me remove what I have right now, and I will just redo it from the beginning. So I will need to click on Add, and let's wait till I take care of Juniper side. I don't use the latest one, but still the principle of how you configure SAML is the same across newer systems. So I go for configuration, I go to SAML, and this is the place where you can create a template that later on we will use on authentication servers. So I will create a new metadata provider, and I will type, I will give it a name, SAS over SAML. I will specify that I use remote configuration, and this is the link that I'm going to use. XML data that Juniper will get from SAS is not signed, so I select untrusted metadata. I also need to download certificate. So if I choose the file, I will take this file or this link. I will click on open. And the last thing that I need to do is to click on identity provider, because SAS is your identity provider. I click on save settings, and it brings me back to SAML metadata provider. All I need to do right now is to refresh configuration. If everything is okay, you will see the populated data here. Next step is to configure my authentication servers. I'm going to create authentication server. I need to select the type of SAML. I'll call it SAS over SAML. Important to remember the SAS identity ID. This has automatically been generated for this specific server, SAML server. So I make a copy of it. We're going to use it on SAS. Here I can manually select and type all data, but because I already created template, I'm going to use values out of this template. I want to cover time difference between SAS and Juniper, potential time difference. I have a certificate that I'm going to use. I would like this data to be available for a certain period of time. I save configuration. Now, once I save configuration, I also can download metadata that I'm going to use in SAS Cloud in a second. So with this option, once I have SAS over services, all I need to do now is go under user realm, SAS server. I'll go and I'll assign authentication to happen over SAS over SAML, and also save changes. I guess that's it for Juniper. Now back to my SAS. I click on add, and I will need to define Juniper. So I will give it a name, my lab. I defined it as a VPN service. I can upload existing meta file, and the metadata file, if you remember, I just had it from Juniper. Click on open and click on apply. If everything is good, I have my service provider. I'm going to assignment. I will find my SAML user. I will add services. So remember, on the SAS, it's all about group-based provisioning, but right now I want to do it for a single user. I will go to test, and I will type grid SAML. It redirects me to SAS. Type a username. Type his one-time password. Click on Logon. And if everything is okay, I'm supposed to be redirected to Juniper and be able to start my VPN session. Additional information available on our website. It's gemalto.com/SAS. You will see additional integration guides and documentation on SafeNet Authentication Services solution.